Hi everyone, it's Kim from Fleece and Harmony, and this is episode 118 of my knitting and crochet podcast. If you're watching this on the day that it's published, it's March 31st, 2023. This is being recorded in our yarn shop, in our woolen mill, on our sheep farm in Belfast, Prince Edward Island, and welcome to everybody. If you're new here, this is a podcast about our farm life and knitting and crochet and about our mill and the dyeing yarn and all of the things that come with the mill. If you're back for another visit, welcome back, and I'm happy that you're here and you've come back again. I will get all of the reminders out in the beginning because I always forget. So as you're watching the video, if you like it, please, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on your notifications. We do publish a podcast every second Friday, and like clockwork at 2:30 Eastern or Atlantic time, and I welcome you to set your notifications so that you don't miss a podcast. As usual, we start the podcast with an update about the farm. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to sit with Simone Van Eiderstein, who works here at Fleece and Harmony, and we're going to talk about the designing process because Simone is a designer, a knitwear designer. We'll then sit with Betsy, who is doing the hand dyeing for us now, and a lot of other things as well, but she's turning her hand to dyeing. As always, we review the works in progress and any finished objects that we have in the Betsy section. But we've started a new segment called In the Mill because Betsy is learning about dyeing, and she had a really, really big 2 weeks since we last were here working on a special project. So you'll want to see that segment. I'll do a shop update for the yarn shop, and then we're going to do a Fibre Festival update because the Fibre Festival is going to be here in Prince Edward Island, or there is a Fibre Festival here in October 5th to the 7th in 2023. And finally, as always, we're going to end with a harmony part, and I'm not going to tell you what's going to be in the harmony part because I'm going to talk about it in the farm update. There's chapters. If you're watching this on a computer or an iPad or something like that, you can skip around to the different segments because I always have the chapters labeled. The show notes have notes about everything that we talk about, and in the show notes we also have links to things that we talk about. So I'll encourage you to check the show notes if there's anything that you need to know in more detail from what we talk about. So the farm update. If people have subscribed to our newsletter, so we also have a newsletter for those that don't know, and in the newsletter that we publish a newsletter every Friday. So every week there's a new newsletter, and that also goes out at 2:30 Atlantic time. And in the last newsletter, I was able to tell all of you regular newsletter readers and podcast watchers that Diva, our old sheep, so if for new people, Diva is a Suffolk sheep that we have here on our farm. We think she's about 20 years old, and most of her teeth have fallen out, and she has arthritis. And she had a slip and fall accident a couple weeks ago. I think it's been 3 weeks ago now. And it was a particularly cold night, and we found her in the morning, and she was in a pretty bad way. So we were pretty worried about her. But the good news is that she seems to have made a full recovery. So our fingers are really, really crossed that she's going to continue on her recovery. She did end up having to take arthritis medication. So we had the vet here a few times checking on her to make sure. We were really afraid that we were going to lose her, but she kept eating and drinking, and she just couldn't get up. So she was stiff. I think she was stiff from her fall, and then when she was laying down so much, then that was not helping. So, but she kept coming along, and she never stopped eating, and she always tried to get up. So we would help her up and walk her around and everything, and then she started to get better, and she kept getting better and better and better. And I would say the last 3 or 4 days, she's actually back to her normal eating habits. She's walking great because she's on medication for the stiffness. She's got one leg that has stiffness in it, and she's on medication for that now, which she didn't have before the fall. So we're really, really happy. She's old, so for a sheep, she's really old. So we know that she's not going to live forever, but we really, really, really wanted her to have one more summer at least on grass and clover and whatever. And our hearts were broken that she might leave us in the middle of a cold winter, but it seems like she's come around and everything is good now. So we're really, really happy about that. And then we had our barn cat Clyde, and I used the past tense because unfortunately Clyde did not get better. So Clyde started to be having some trouble breathing, and she lost a lot of weight, and she wasn't doing very well. So I took her to the vet. This was happening at the same time that Diva was not feeling well. And I took her to the vet, and she had a blood work done. And what the vet discovered is that she had hyperthyroidism. So we immediately put her on thyroid medication, but she just never really did well. Like, we couldn't see any improvement. And then all of a sudden she started to really bloat around her stomach, and she was having trouble breathing. So we took her back to the vet, and the vet said that it really was not a good prognosis, that when they got the whole panel, her blood panel back, it told a story of kidney function failure, and also he suspected that she had congestive heart failure as well, and that's why the fluid was starting to build up. And so he said, we can keep her comfortable and we'll see what happens. So that's what we did. We were giving her medication every day, but one morning I woke up, she wasn't moving anymore out of the room where her food and everything was, when she used to be like a really active cat. And she just, while I was working at my computer, she was sitting with me, and she really started struggling to breathe. So that's not a good quality of life. So we called the vet again, and we took her back to the vet, and they basically said that she was going to continue to deteriorate, and that medication alone was not going to be helpful at this point. So we made the tough decision that she would be eased into her crossing over the rainbow bridge, as they say. So we're really heartbroken about that. So I have a video of Clyde that I had taken for the harmony part at one point, because she was she was like a purring machine. She was always purring. The minute you looked at her, she would start purring. And it was just so calm and peaceful that I actually took a video of it, and I used it for the harmony part. So we're going to say goodbye to Clyde in the harmony part at the end of this video. So there's good news and bad news, I guess, in the farm update, but that is one thing that being a farmer teaches you, because you have a lot of animals and things like that, is that there are times when the news is not good, and we really, really have learned as farmers that there are worse things than slowly passing away, and dying is not the worst thing that can happen. And really we felt like Clyde was starting to suffer, so that was the best that we could do for her. So anyway, a bit of sad news, but Ken actually went to the vet. I didn't go, and he said that she was still purring with her last breath. So I think that that's a good sign that she was peaceful and comfortable at the end. So on that note, we will move to the rest of the podcast. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk to Simone and see what she's been up to here in the mill and with her design company, Sand and Sky. So I invite you to watch that with us. Hi, Simone.
Hi, Kim.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Did you have a good 2 weeks?
I did.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, well, pretty good. We see each other every second day. But we don't see you guys every second day.
That's right.
So your hair is looking lovely and luscious today.
Oh. Thank you.
People liked your braids, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll do my braids again.
Well, you can wear your hair any way you want.
Yeah.
I'm picturing that. So what are we going to talk about today? I think we got a lot to talk about.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since this is your second appearance, I'm just going to kind of reintroduce you. Okay. So if you haven't seen Simone before, Simone has recently joined Fleece and Harmony. And so this is her second time sitting next to me in the podcast. And Simone actually is the owner of a design company, Sand and Sky. Yeah? Yep. How long have you had Sand and Sky?
It's been quite a while. I think I started designing in 2006.
Oh, I took a look at all of your patterns. I was just scrolling through them, and there's some there that you looked like a baby.
Yes.
I think you were pretty young.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, not that you're not young now, but anyway, so I thought it would be interesting to talk a little bit about that. So last time we got completely off track. We even forgot what we were talking about, and then we had to come back, and I had to write titles saying we didn't forget. Well, we did forget, but then we remembered. You remembered.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give a little rundown about what we're going to do. So Simone's going to talk about Sand and Sky. I had some questions about being a pattern designer, so I'm going to ask you those questions, and then you can answer them.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at your projects that are a work in project, or your work in progress, which is the Domino, and then we've got a special project that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's start with Sand and Sky. And so you've been at this for a while.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first pattern you published?
I don't actually remember. I know it was something small. I think it might have been a crocheted hat.
Oh, okay.
This was back when patterns were relatively new on the internet. Ravelry was just kind of an up-and-comer thing.
Right.
And yeah, so a lot of those really early patterns are... They're interesting.
I'm sure that they're fine. Okay. And how many patterns have you designed now?
It's got to be close to 50.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I thought. I mean, I know I've known you for quite a while, but I was surprised at how many you had there. There was a lot.
You surprised me with it.
Yeah, when I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do mostly accessories and things like that. Have you ever designed a sweater?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
It's not really my forte.
Right.
I kind of like the instant gratification projects. So like little accessories are something that, kind of fills a niche.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've talked at the last episode how you're a lightning fast knitter. So I can attest to the fact that Simone can finish an accessory project at knit night. Something. Well, the rest of us are stumbling along, knowing that we're going to have to rip out everything that we knit at knit night. Simone's sitting there with a completed project that she cast on night. So that's good. So how long does it take you to make a hat, for example?
With like a worsted weight yarn, I can knit a hat in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So it's not that long.
Yeah, the opposite of me. Exactly. The exact opposite. So so you have about 50 patterns on Ravelry under Sand and Sky.
Yes.
A lot of hats.
Yeah.
I think you like hats.
I do.
And
I really
cowls.
like hats. Yes. Yeah.
And some other things, mittens too. Well, all of those kind of things, and a lot of those. So, what would you say is one of the? I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the glamour of being a pattern designer.
Right.
So I think that it's a lot of hard work.
It is.
Yes.
Yes.
So, tell us about the process of when you start a pattern.
Usually whenever I start a pattern, a lot of times it will be the yarn that inspires me. So you saw that with the Scotch on the Rocks. I saw that and I'm like, I know exactly what I want that to be.
So you hadn't even thought about the Winter Lights cowl before you saw the Scotch on the Rocks?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I just saw that and I'm like, I want a colorwork cowl and I want it with crow wing and this is what it's going to be.
Okay.
And then other times, it's created to fill a need. So with my Thick and Quick Lopey mittens, that was created because the kids lost one of their mittens and I had to knit a pair really fast.
Oh.
So those are great because I get to knit a pair of mittens in a morning and we're back in the mittens again.
And they're thick and quick.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
Great. And what's your favorite pattern that you've designed?
My favorite pattern that I've designed, I really like the Iditarod cowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
Nice.
Just because it's got dogs and it's got snowflakes and it's cozy.
What more can you ask for?
That's right.
So when you're designing, just take us through a little bit about the process, because I know I've seen you with like stacks of grid paper and that kind of thing. So you map it out on grid paper?
Yeah. Usually what I'll do first off is I'll decide what I want it to be. And then I'll start with swatches. So if it's a yarn that I'm familiar with, I'll just do a quick swatch to see what kind of fabric I'm looking for. And there I'll decide on the size. So once you have the size that you want, it's really easy to figure out how many stitches you need for that project and, you know, kind of give you an idea of what the finished project is going to look like.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you go through the same process as you've got your swatch, so you know how many stitches per inch there are, and then if you're doing a cowl, you know how many you need to go around? Is it just the same math?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that the easy part?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, because I could do that, but I can't design a pattern. So then you have to grid out your motifs.
Yeah.
So how long does that usually take?
I have grid paper, but I also have a program on the computer now.
Okay. Okay.
I've gotten it I got it a few years ago, and it's helped a lot because there you don't have to rewrite it every time you make a mistake.
I've seen you with a pencil and eraser sometimes while you were working. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes it a little bit easier.
Right.
But yeah, I do like the grid paper a lot for that. Yeah, so then I chart out, and of course then there's the testing. So I knit things myself to test them and make sure that they work. And then I'll have some friends test the pattern out as well, just to make sure that the numbers match up, the gauge matches up, that it's clear and concise. Because I think that's one of the most difficult things about designing, in my opinion, is making sure that when you write something out, it's understandable for people, but it's also not too wordy. Like you really have to be specific in your information because people can get bogged down with too much.
Right.
So it's just finding that balance of enough information, but you know, not overloading someone.
And so to me, it seems like the tech editing is, I mean, it's really important. And we've all known, like when Ravelry first came on the scene, there were a lot of patterns on Ravelry that had mistakes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but people really don't put up with that anymore.
No,
So
people don't like that.
Tech editing is really important, and you do your own tech editing.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and how much information do you do that before you, like, do the whole process before you give it out to the test knitters, or are you getting a lot of information back from the test knitters as well?
Usually I write out the completed pattern. It's roughed out, but you know, it's really close to being complete. I just want to put the final touches on it whenever I get all the information back. But yeah, I like to send out a pattern that is as complete as possible and as close to what the finished pattern will look like. So they have the cover page with the examples. And you know, all the information should be there. Because sometimes, you know, things will go a little weird with that as well. So I want to make sure that it looks correct as well.
Good. Okay. So we like to talk about our mistakes here. So tell me about your biggest pattern mistake. Or did you have one? Or had you
Yeah, definitely have pattern mistakes. I've put decreases in the wrong places or the wrong decreases in the wrong places, especially with written instructions. So that's why I find it so important for me to have it test knit, because I'm left-handed. Things are opposite. So I have to make sure that, you know, things make sense for the average, aka right-handed knitter. Because things are a little bit weird in my knit world.
And the last time we talked just about your knitting, you were saying that you have to flip everything and then, well, in my opinion, read it backwards, because I'm a right-handed knitter.
Yeah.
So then, so that's an extra layer of complexity, because now you have to do it in reverse for the right-handed knitter. Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nightmare to me. But
mistakes are very easily made.
Yeah. But I have to say, you respond to people too when they make comments or whatever.
I do.
And when I do my list of 5, that's one of the things that I look at, is that the pattern design, because anybody can make a mistake. I mean, I'm going to talk about a few of them after on my reading mistakes. So I can't even imagine writing mistakes, but I do know that you respond right away. And I think that's kind of I'm not going to say it's a gift to the designer, but if people are asking questions, then I think it probably helps you for the next pattern as well. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, it kind of puts you in the knitter's shoes, which is important as well. And it pares down what information people are looking for, spots that may be unclear. So just because you can knit a technique doesn't mean that it translates well to paper. So whenever you have people respond and say, I really don't understand this, or, that kind of thing, it lets you know that, you need to clarify there. And for the next time.
So because you do a lot of your types of products are relatively small, or your designs. So hats, mittens, gloves. Did you do gloves? Yeah, gloves and cowls. You probably have a little bit of a template. So has that been refined over the years because of people's questions and so forth?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So great. So what would you think is, for people that haven't designed, what would you think the biggest misconception is about being a pattern designer?
That just because you can knit it, it translates well to paper.
Right.
That's one of the hardest things that I find. And it's one of those things that I would like more people to be aware of, because it is really difficult to make things, easily understood. Sometimes.
So I'm not a particularly creative person, so I don't stray too far from a written pattern unless I have to do something for fitting and that kind of thing. And then I learned the techniques and the math to do that. So Betsy and I have talked a lot. She's very creative and likes to knit things on the fly, but she says no to knitting pattern, because she says the same thing. A pattern, like designing and tech knitting, are two different things from creating. So you would agree with that?
Yes, definitely.
How about, I think people, we're going to talk a little bit about this, but not in details, but people think that if you have a pattern on Ravelry, you're building your nest egg for your retirement. Is that true?
No. Not in my case anyway. It's more of a hobby. I mean, I'm sure there are some designers out there that, definitely earn their living. But that's not going to be me.
Not for most people. So the reason why I'm asking you that is because I was actually shocked about how I had conversations with some pretty well-known pattern designers that I thought would be like, okay, well, that seems like a good gig. And when I actually they shared with the actual amount of patterns that you have to sell to be, it's a little bit you're not in it for the money. Unless you're some of the big names or whatever, that you have to sell literally thousands of patterns to really what you're assuming they make. There's 25 designers that are
especially
doing it.
With people knitting or creating patterns for garments, because there's an expectation nowadays that garments be size inclusive, which means that there's a lot of math that goes into it.
The Rowan right now is doing from a 28 chest all the way up to a 62-inch chest. There's a lot of stuff that goes on between those two sizes, right? And I brought up the money part because I don't hear it as much now, but when we first opened the store, we heard a lot of people saying, I'm not going to pay for pattern, because there were a lot of free patterns on Ravelry. And it was just, so we opened the store in like the very end of 2016 and first of 2017, which was not that long ago, but I can remember almost could you photocopy that for me? No, we can't.
Yeah.
It's like the designer deserves to be paid for the work that you do, because it's not just coming up with an idea, sitting down and jotting it out on a piece of paper and putting it up to Ravelry. It's a lot of work.
It is.
To do it well.
Yeah.
And but now I think people are more used to paying for it. They never had problems paying for books because they have something in their hands. Yeah. But with the online stuff, they wanted to download everything for free. But hopefully we're over that.
Yeah, I think that's changed.
Yeah, I think so. So that's not that many years, and it's changed over. So thank goodness for that, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So since we're talking about sand and sky, I think you just did a new pattern.
I did.
Yeah. Yes. So do you want to talk about it?
Sure. So I'll hold them up here.
Okay.
These are 2 examples of spring in the Makkin.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably saying that last word wrong, but
explain. You can explain.
It's been inspired by my dabbling with the Shetland knitting belt or the Makkin belt. Please, somebody correct me if I'm saying that wrong. I've been playing around with it, and obviously you have to jump in at the deep end and start with color work.
Right. Of course.
That's the logical thing to do.
Yeah. So, maybe we should explain for people that might not know what a knitting belt is.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you bring it?
I do.
Okay. Good. I haven't seen it live.
All right. So this is my Shetland or Makkin belt.
Right.
Yeah. So you have all these little holes in the belt. It's just...
We'll just maybe hold it right up there. Okay.
Sure.
Oh, it's got suede on the back too.
Yeah, it's made out of leather.
Okay. The producer says he can see that. Okay.
So it has a bunch of little holes, and they're all different sizes so that you can insert your needles in.
Oh, okay. So they're different. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So different gauges of needles go in different ones. Okay.
Exactly. Cool. And you can get different lengths of needles. Like, the possibilities are endless with this. I'm a novice. I'm really, really a novice. I just want to be clear with people. And also left-handed, so I put it on the opposite hip that you would normally see other people using it on. So you insert your needle into one of these.
Do you have your
holes.
Needles with you too?
I do.
Yeah. Pins, as they would say in the UK. Oh, wow. Okay, they're long.
They are. So these are the 14-inch needles.
Double points. Okay.
And you just kind of stick it in there.
Oh, it goes into the side, not straight out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's flat against the...
So you put it right on your hip.
So it's sticking like this. Yeah. Don't come close. You're armed and dangerous.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it just goes on one hip, and I know you probably can't see this, can you? And then you hold your knitting in the opposite hand.
Right.
And knit across the tips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And you posted a video.
I did.
Maybe you can send it to me and I'll show it.
Yep.
And as she says, she's left-handed. So I know some people commented on your post, because I read the comments and said, they didn't say you're doing it wrong. It's on the wrong side. Yeah. But it's on the wrong side because she's the left-handed knitter.
Yeah.
So you knit these hats on this?
I did.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you as fast on the Makkin belt yet? No?
No, not yet.
Now you're down with the rest of us? No. Okay. So this little flower motif, what was inspired that? Is it spring?
Spring.
Yeah. Okay.
I am done with snow.
Yeah.
Even though we're getting more snow today.
Yes, we have more snow on the ground than fell all winter right now. Yeah, it's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
I'm done with snow, and I wanted some little flowers to enjoy.
Right.
And then there's the little speckles, which could be more snow because it's spring.
Right. Right.
But it's knit in Selkirk worsted and 2 different colors. I like the kind of variegated for the background, and then a solid for the contrast color, and then of course a pom-pom, because I love pom-poms.
So is it 1 skein of each?
Yes.
Okay.
So it is, let me think here, I think it's 120 yards of each, just a generous amount.
Right.
A little bit more if you want to do the pom-pom in one of the colors.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's under a ball each, so you might even be
and
able
you
to
can
get
get
two.
the pom-pom as well from two skeins of the
I
okay.
haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your color is cranberry
Right.
and
Wild rose.
wild rose. Okay. And
Yep.
this one is fiddlehead and plover.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So is this pattern on Ravelry yet?
As of this airing, it
Yes.
will be.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Friday. So we're recording on the Tuesday. So as of Friday, it'll be on Ravelry.
That's right.
So you've heard it here first.
Yep.
And you're offering a discount?
I am.
Okay.
So anybody that would like to purchase the pattern will get 20% off with the coupon code SPRINGTHAW, all in caps.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, in Ravelry. So you buy
Yep.
it directly from Ravelry. Don't buy it from us, but come see us about the yarn.
That's right.
Okay. Great. And you have another one on the...
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same hat?
No.
Oh.
I decided to be really adventurous and try something with longer floats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is just, I always use my leftovers. So this is some autumn birch and then some bramble.
Bramble. Okay.
Yeah.
Autumn birch and bramble.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Not much to be seen yet.
Okay.
But-
Is this a new pattern then?
It's a remake of an old pattern.
Oh, okay.
So I'm using the motif from the Sable Island hat.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
going to have horses.
Yeah. Okay.
Along it.
I think that was one on my list of 5 that I did for Sand
Yeah.
and Sky. Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to stay tuned for that. Okay. All right. These feel really nice.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
It's that Selkirk worsted.
I know. Gotta love it. So, all right, Simone, that's great. Okay, so check out Sand and Sky on Ravelry if you haven't already. And maybe there's 51 patterns. I don't know. Anyway, and like I said, she's launching it with this podcast, and you can get a 20% off this pattern. If
That's
you,
right.
And you want to say the code again?
It's Spring Thaw, all one word and all capitals.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So that's good. And is there anything else you want to say about designing, or have we covered just about everything?
I think we've covered pretty well everything.
Yeah. Good. Okay. All right. So then the next thing we should talk about is your domino,
Yes.
because that's your work and project from the last time we were here. Progress. I can't say this is, I should just say whip.
Try not to rattle too much.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's okay.
So
The last time you were here, you had your steeks still intact and no
did.
sleeves. So
That's right.
what have you done now?
So I think I was just past the colorwork band here. So I've actually completed the body of the sweater, and I've cut the steeks for the neck and for the bottom.
Okay. Okay. So the last time we were here, I understand now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the steek was right here. There was a little hole.
Right.
So this is a bound off edge.
It is.
And then you just cut in between. So this is the shoulder. So I think for some reason I was getting it in my head that you went right across, but then of course that wouldn't make sense because you'd have 2 big flaps.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But you do go right across on the bottom.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've just picked up the stitches here for the sleeve, and I haven't gotten very much done.
Right. Okay.
I was busy with my Makkin belt.
Yeah. Okay. And what kind of treatment does it get on the neck?
It gets a ribbing. So you're going to
Okay.
pick up the stitches and then knit a ribbing.
Okay. And you do the same on the bottom.
Yeah.
So it'll end up being a lot longer.
Yeah,
than
and
this.
it's a split hem too. So
Right. Okay.
it's
I
a
think
fun
there's
project.
a little piece of hay from Selkirk worsted. Sometimes there's a little bit of hay from our inner yard.
There's probably little ginger cat hairs too.
Oh no, it was
Yeah.
definitely a piece of hay. And so then, for those that haven't seen this before, it was knit in the round like this, right?
Yes.
Yes. And the steeks were then on the side, and then you flip it over for the design to have the vertical stripes.
Yeah.
And the yarn is Selkirk worsted in pine cone and the red gradient kit.
That's
in
right.
Selkirk worsted.
And the pattern is Domino by Jennifer Beale.
Yes, we can't forget that.
Yeah.
And she designed it in Selkirk worsted actually.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
call
there.
for yarn.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Very nice. Oop. And the sleeves are regular sleeves.
Yes, with colorwork bands. So
right. Oh, okay. There's colorwork on it. Okay.
Yeah, it requires a little bit of concentration.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's face it. We tell everybody don't be afraid in Jennifer Beale patterns, but they're not typically TV knitting.
Oh.
So you have to be zen and read your pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't worry about a lot of words. I think it would be it's really handy to have a marker because she writes all of the charts out as well. So if you're not comfortable with charts, then she's got the whole thing written step by step, and it's for the next segment we're going to talk about. We took a look at the pattern for that, and we said we're glad that Simone's going to do it.
I found whenever I did the Exploits Valley Hap, what I did for the lace panels that joined the other lace panels, because they did get so wide, is I used a ruler and I just scratched them out with a pen as I went, so that I didn't lose
just
my
to
place.
Keep track. Yeah. Okay. So before we get to the special project, people are going to write and ask what sweater you're wearing, and I forgot to mention that. So
this is Bressay by Marie Wallin.
Right. Do you know which book that's out of? Shetland? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have that book.
Yeah.
We have all of her books.
Yeah. It was a really fun knit, and I highly recommend it. I went with colors as close as possible to the ones pictured. Right. Just because there's, I think, 12 colors.
Right. I think the Shetland book is the first one that she used the Jameson and Smith yarn, I think. Or is it Jameson's or Jameson's and Smith?
I get those two mixed up.
Yeah,
and I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, that's not good. I'll put a title on. So I think that was the first magazine, or the first book that she did that was with their yarn. Yeah. Before that, she was working for Rowan, so she was using felted tweed for a lot of. So what yarn did you knit this in? It's pretty fine.
This in Knit Picks palette.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
And I just tried to match up the colors as close as possible.
Right.
Because there was no way I was going to pick 12 colors on my own.
Yeah. So, good segue into the next topic. So we're going to do a knit along with Simone. Yes. I'm not doing the knit along. You can knit along with Simone. Because she's good. Jennifer Beale designed a pattern that went with a yarn advent calendar.
Yes.
So, and I forget what the name of the yarn was, but I'll put it down here. So anyway, it was special skeins that were done for this advent calendar, and you knit the project. It's a shawl. It's called Rioux, and you knit that with the skeins that you received in the advent calendar. So, but now the pattern's released into the general public.
Yep.
So Simone has had that in her Ravelry library, and actually, the conversation started because we talked about that design because Jennifer had done some posts about it, and I couldn't find the yarn. So I wrote to Jennifer and said, "Where's the yarn? Where's the yarn?" And she said, "Oh, it was like an advent calendar." And I said, "Okay, so we want to knit it, but we need to know the yarn." So we decided the closest, in fact, the yarn, the Point Prim Sock yarn is actually really fits into the specs of the design.
Almost perfectly.
Yeah, almost perfectly.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe a little bit better than the original yarn. It was a little bit bigger. The original yarn was a little bit thicker. So Point Prim Sock is a little bit finer than the yarn that she knit the original one in. But it has 14 colors. Yes. And a lot of the colors were dyed, especially for that project. So then we had to, if we wanted to continue down the road of the idea that we started, we had to come up with all of the colors. And I can tell you, it's not an easy task. No. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the segment with Betsy, because Betsy was tasked with coming up with all the colors, and we were like, our eyes were blurry from staring at the screen to look at the different colors but we think we came up with something pretty good, and Simone's going to knit it. So I've already shown a picture of Rioux here somewhere, or I'm showing it now, whatever. So you can see it's quite a complex design. I
have been accused before of saying anything that Jennifer Beale makes could be beginner knitting as long as you can read instructions, but I'm not going to say that about this. I think if you want a challenge, you can absolutely rely on the instructions are going to be impeccable because they always are.
Yeah.
But it's a big project.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from what I've read, I don't believe there's steeks in it.
Yeah. I think that's what she said.
Yeah.
No steeks and no long floats or something like that. So, but it's unbelievable. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, but we needed a fast knitter to do it. So.
No pressure.
Yeah. Don't do it on your Makkin belt. So Simone's going to knit it.
Yep.
And she'll show us the progress that she makes every 2 weeks. And if you want to knit it at the same time, then we encourage you to purchase the pattern from Jennifer Beale. It's up on her Ravelry site. And I'm not going to talk about the details here, but we have all of the colors that you need to make it. And we're making a kit so that you have the right amounts of yarn to make the project. And you don't have to buy full skeins of everything. So this took it was quite a process trying to match the colors because we couldn't, we matched the colors as much as we could, but then they also had to harmonize with each other. So even if you nailed one of the colors, but you didn't have the thing that went next to it in quite the right tone, we had to change. Yeah. It might have required making a few new colors, which we said we weren't going to do, but we did it. And we just gave them names today. So that's fun. So those will come and we'll just see how it goes. Some of them I really, really like. Yeah. So they might make an appearance in the catalog. So, 83 colors. You still don't have enough. I don't I don't know. Anyway, so that's what's going to happen next in the... So are you raring to go?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm ready.
So we'll have we're just dyeing the yarns now. So like I said, by the time you see this, we'll have kits made and available, and Simone can't start hers until we dye the kits either. So she'll probably start, you'll start when you start. Yep. And just show us your progress every 2 weeks. And if you can kind of take notes about things that you think people should watch out for, maybe that would be helpful too. I think people would really appreciate it if you don't mind. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Okay.
That'd be great.
All right. So I think that's it.
Perfect.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I think that's all good.
That's all good. Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So Simone has got her work cut out for her doing the Rioux. And it's really interesting to hear when you talk to a knitwear designer. There's so much more to it than what if you don't really realize all of the detail that goes into that. So I was really happy that we were able to highlight Simone and her designs, and of course her beautiful projects. And I can really hardly wait to see this shawl when she gets started on that. So the next segment is with Betsy. So we're going to pop over, and Betsy's had a really exciting 2 weeks here as well. And as I mentioned, we're going to talk about all of our works in progress. And then we'll follow that with the in the mill section, and you'll see what Betsy's been up to. She's had a really challenging 2 weeks, but it's ended with success. So let's check that out. Hi, Betsy.
Hi, Kim.
How are ya?
Good. A little mellower than usual, I think.
You're a little mellower?
Yeah. We'll see if it actually shows up.
Okay.
But I've been feeling mellower.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Or maybe the word I'm looking for is lethargic.
Oh, okay. Just kind of relaxed over it?
No, I think I'm trying to figure out if I'm, I don't know, fighting something.
Maybe it's because we have so much snow on the ground, more snow than what we've had all winter.
Yeah, maybe.
We've already talked about it, but
okay. I'm looking at it right now.
We're supposed to get more.
What?
Yeah, Sunday.
I thought it was done.
No.
I thought it was this past weekend, and then that was
This would have been perfect in February.
Oh, or even December. Beautiful Christmas. Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
What can you do?
Not much.
Mm-mm.
No. So, we keep our notes on the iPad when we're that's how we keep ourselves straight, and it's all blank it's next to you. It just says Betsy.
Oh.
So,
great.
but we're gonna wing it.
I think I can
But
remember.
we're gonna do our projects. But the in the mill section is planned out because we have like got it done a little introduction with Simone, so people know what it's going to be about.
Nice.
But it's going to be fun.
Good.
All right, so let's get right to our projects.
Okay.
Do you want to go
Sounds
first?
good. Yeah, sure. I'll do my crochet. So,
Okay, so
I'm
the Carina
still
shawl.
working on the Carina shawl, and you folks are going to say you haven't made a stitch of progress.
Right.
But I have.
Okay.
So my
It's
problem
smaller.
it is looking a bit smaller,
Right.
because one of the problems I was running into is the hook size that I was using for the color work was too large.
Right.
So it was too open, it was too airy, you couldn't even see the pattern developing.
Mm-hmm.
So I dropped that down. I think I'm like a size and a half, a whole
Okay.
size and a half hook size.
So when you say size and a half, you mean because of like
So
4.5 down to 3?
I went from a 6 to a 4.5.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So millimeters, like a full millimeter and a half. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm finding that is going much better.
Yes.
I can see the pattern developing. I'm hoping you folks can
Yeah.
too. It's coming along there. You can kind of see like little pyramids kind of
Right.
growing.
And when we took the picture in the last podcast, you could make out the pattern.
I think that's
but
because
when it was up close, you couldn't see it.
And I think that's because like the wood table that I took it on kind of like filled in those holes,
okay,
and
okay.
it happens to be the same color as the contrast
Right,
color.
right,
So
okay.
I was cheating a little bit.
Yeah, but this looks, you can really see it.
It's
Yeah.
coming along.
Yeah. Okay.
And what I'm really excited about is this week I took the time to properly learn how to read the chart. So it's Mosaic Crochet. I believe we settled on it's called Overlay. But it comes with an actual chart as well, like the little squares that you can read. So I had to figure out how to do that. And I plugged it into my Procreate program, which is the drawing program on my iPad. And I still draw little notes on each line, my own little symbols for like a single crochet versus a double crochet versus a chain.
This is American term?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So I do still have to do that because I'm finding it's just not really clear. And that might just be because I don't have the understanding yet.
Right.
Sometimes the more you do something, then you understand what it represents.
Right.
So like two squares of the same color stacked on top of each other mean double crochet.
Oh, okay.
One square is only single. So I had to kind of figure that all out.
Okay, so then I thought there must have been standard kind of symbols for crochet, but those aren't the kind of
this
symbols that
this
you
looks
had
like
with Sue.
you could knit this chart.
Oh,
it
okay.
looks like a color work knit chart. It's just squares of different colors.
Okay,
So no, it's not like Sue Mattin's at all.
Okay,
It's
so
quite different.
when you're this will be interesting. People can comment.
Yeah.
So when you're crocheting, is it not as standardized, or is it because it's flat versus round motifs?
I don't know. I
Okay.
really don't know. So it was like learning how to read kind of a whole new language, figuring out what this chart meant. And I'm still finding that there are some written instructions that go with it. You could not just look at the chart. Maybe you could if you knew what you were doing. But no, because sometimes the stitch goes in front and sometimes it goes in back. Sometimes you're working on the right side of the work, sometimes you're working on the wrong side. So I still have to reference the written instructions to check those points.
Okay.
But at least the stitch by stitch is going better. And I'm learning how to read the crochet itself.
Right.
So knowing the positioning based on the row that came before.
Well, so like anything,
Yep.
you just have to learn it.
Exactly.
And it does look very neat. Yeah. But I think it's going to be smaller then.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Just because that's down a size, but that's okay. There's still another significant section of just plain, and I will go back up the hook size for that, and maybe giving it a nice little block.
And there was a lot of chatter back and forth about the contrast issue as well in the comments, but it actually, you can see it quite plainly now.
Once I've closed it up, I think that really helped.
So even though your contrast color is a little bit,
it would be considered a low, I think.
More depth. Like there's it's a lower contrast than what she used. You can definitely see
it.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just taking out all that space. There was just too much space between the stitches. So you were literally seeing air.
Right.
Which is great for lace.
Yeah.
Or even some open crochets, but not to see the color difference.
Exactly.
So,
Great. Okay.
So it's coming along. It's slow but steady.
Yeah.
So that's,
and how's your arm?
So my shoulder's great.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. Yes, she's got a big
do.
boo-boo.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know if there's a Band-Aid across my finger here. So, silly me, I was doing I just want to finish this row. I'm just going to finish this row, but I really needed to use the washroom.
Oh.
Well, I pushed it a little far, so then I quick finished the row last night, and I went to run up the stairs to the bathroom, and somehow missed the stairs with my feet completely. So I smashed down on my hands and my knees. So now I have a ripped open finger, and there's quite a bit of swelling going on. So,
But your shoulder's good.
My shoulder's doing great.
Yes, you can see that it's quite bruised.
It is, yeah, it's bruised right back kind of to the knuckle.
Yeah.
I can not quite bend it all the way, so I don't know.
And that's your hook hand.
The hand,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see.
I think you have earned a pass.
Okay.
For this week.
I just
She
need
was
to learn to
lamenting
slow
about
down.
the fact that she didn't have much to show.
No.
And I was
although
thinking
that only
about-
happened last night, so I don't really have that great of an excuse.
You didn't have to say that.
Gave it all away.
No,
So
but
it's
that's
just-
your story and you're sticking
Exactly.
to it.
Yeah. But no, I think it truly is because I'm doing something brand new that I'm learning. It just takes more time.
Yeah.
You just have to give yourself time.
Yeah, that's right. And you went smaller, so that
did.
takes more time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you've got your Cordelia.
Then I have my Lady Cordelia, which I did a bit more on. I should have, people always say this, I should have put a progress marker.
Yeah.
Because I can't even remember exactly.
I remember you were
Where I
partway
was.
through, you said you had 10 rows, so I think you were actually partway through this motif.
This one here. Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. So I got a little bit more on.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm about kind of halfway up the body, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
And I'm enjoying it. Again, I'm slow with it too. I'm slow with everything I'm doing right now. I'm just slow.
You carried me for a long time.
We're shifting positions.
I'm a little
again.
bit. I'm sitting here with a little Cheshire grin because I knit a lot.
Yeah, she got lots done.
Yeah.
So again, that's Lady Cordelia by Kristen Drysdale.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and it's
done in
going
crowing and pearl.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Selkirk worsted.
Getting all hooked up
Ooh,
here.
okay.
All right.
All right. Anything else over there?
No, I'm still working on my little army of frogs, but they're still waiting. Some of them are still waiting for legs. So
Okay.
I'll show them hopefully finished next time.
Okay. So that's the frog pattern by Dot Pebbles.
Yes.
And there's been a whole big discussion about how you put the wires in.
Yes. So apparently I just created my own way of doing it. So I went back and looked at the pattern, and in the written pattern, there's no instructions on how to put the wires in the legs.
Oh, okay.
But there is a link to a video. And if you click on that link, you can see in the video. And she somehow attaches it and then knits around the wire, which sounds complicated to me, considering I just ran my wire through a darning needle and zipped it through the leg.
So they, but there's people, it was in her thread, I think, right? That they were talking about it, or it wasn't in our comments.
Somewhere in ours, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So that, she addressed that in,
did she?
in Instagram, because there was a whole big conversation going on.
Oh, no, I
about
missed
how-
that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So she addressed it because people were saying, as much as we say they're not really fiddly, because you're using normal size, not normal size, but larger than you think needle sizes.
Yeah.
But people were saying that, but we don't love the I-cord around the wire. So there's a whole thread on that. And there's a couple different ways to do it.
Okay. Well, I
think yours is actually the easiest from all they were explaining how they do this and that. And
no, she may be using a slightly heavier wire, because I noticed my friend on Facebook ordered the same wires, which is a flower wire type thing, which I think is a little heavier duty. I'm just using twist ties that I stripped down, and they worked, and it holds the positions.
And I think they wrap yarn around the wires as well.
Oh, I don't know.
So there was a whole big thing going on in this.
So what I kind of figured out, again, when you've been doing enough projects, sometimes you just transfer information without even realizing you did.
Right.
So I thought it was hilarious that all of a sudden I was like, I don't know where I got that idea.
Yeah.
I just did it.
You just build on your experience.
Yeah. I've done it somewhere else, and so it worked for that one too.
Yeah, right. And I mean, the legs stay, they articulate fine, so there's no problem with
I don't know
that.
if mine would stand on their own, but I feel like that would be more based on the the size of the body versus the size of the feet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure mine would stand.
Yeah. And now, thank you very much, Simone, getting us hooked on down the rabbit hole with this whole India rose.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
So I put a link to that in my last show notes. So if you really want to waste a lot of time on something that is cute,
It's so cute.
check out.
Yes.
So it's the Dot Pebbles frogs.
Yes.
That have been taken by India Rose is her
Yeah,
name,
I think
right?
it's her
I don't
name,
know what
yeah.
I don't know if that's her real name or not.
Yeah.
India Rose something.
I'm not sure.
All right, it's down
below.
It's below.
Yeah.
And she has these two frogs doing
all
stop
these-
action.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
They're
stop
so
motion video and
Very cute. I think
Yeah.
they're like having cups of tea and breakfast.
Picnics.
And, yeah. It's so cute.
doing the Christmas tree. Comes in with the Christmas tree. Anyway, it's really flying a kite
Yes.
that's made from a leaf.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so you can go down, spend your Saturday morning
Doing
looking
that.
at that over breakfast. Anyway, it's really cute. Okay, so now my project.
Yes.
So
All right.
you're doing your Kristen Drysdale
Yeah.
thing. I'm afraid you're not going to make it for the end of the Knit Along.
When is it?
April 30th.
Oh, I got a month.
Okay, so
Because
you
you
might
remember,
still-
I have my sleeves done.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I can never tell.
Anyway, who am I to judge? Really, like it's not. I may actually finish, which I
on
didn't think that
time.
I would ever finish.
Okay, I just
Okay.
realized I'm totally breaking my promise that I'm mellow today. I think I'm right on.
Yeah.
Who I am. Sorry.
Oh, drop stitch.
Do that.
We were just discussing
that.
stitch stoppers. I said, I don't use stitch
Oh,
stoppers.
no, you're stitch
Anyway,
stoppers.
all right.
Here, I'll hold these. These are going to go flying.
Yeah, okay. So I attached the sleeves to the
Oh, we're
yoke.
losing stitches again.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, a bunch of them.
okay. Just
Pause.
let me- I think I can do this. Oh, maybe I should have put.
Do you want to grab some stitch stoppers?
No,
No. Okay.
our yarn is
Almost there.
sticky enough. I'm doing it without my glasses on.
There.
So, okay.
Just hold
So
those
that's
out
really-
further.
It's getting a little bit big. That's also
Yeah, there.
okay. So can you just hold the ends
Yes.
of those? Okay. All right. So here it is, and so the underarm is there.
Yeah.
So you remember when you were asking me in the last podcast about the width of the sleeves?
I do.
So they look tiny, don't they?
There's no way my arm's getting in there.
Well, luckily my arms are like 6.
Yes, you and I are built very different, so we should be okay.
Yeah. Well,
Or you should be okay.
I was saying, when you block, don't forget, and it is true. The
Yes.
Selkirk worsted, when you block it, is actually going to expand sideways a little bit. And I made the sleeves longer so that it goes up. So
Okay.
when you block Selkirk worsted knit in the stockinette, it goes wider when you block it, and you lose a bit of the length. So I always knit it a little bit longer. And while they were on the needles, I was able to put my hand in there and really see if it would go. But it's really like
fitted.
it's not negative ease, but there's no ease at all,
Okay.
which I'm not sure is great for a sweater. But I won't be wearing anything underneath.
Okay.
Let's put it that
There we
way.
go. It's a dress sweater.
And I think what happened is that you remember when I was saying about the fact I didn't do the gauge in circular knitting?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think that came back
That might
and
have
get
came
me.
back. Yeah, it came back to get you. Do you think
Yeah.
also maybe starting using a different style than when you normally would have?
I've used 4 different styles on these,
Sorry.
so who knows? Who
Okay.
knows why?
Got
But
it.
I think I can see that the motif is just a little tiny bit tighter on the sleeves than it is on the
Body.
the body. So
Okay.
it's the same chart. So
Okay.
and it is a little bit smaller. So definitely the sleeves are a little bit tighter. Then I soothed myself thinking everything was going to be okay. Then when I got it attached to the yoke, I was like, well, that's one thing to have arms like sticks, but there's quite another thing to actually have your shoulders
Fit in.
fit in.
Yeah.
So I have no idea.
I don't know yet.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll
The only
see.
thing that's making me feel okay is that, so now what's happening, the way that this design is written is that you are knitting, I think the
the longer up you go is going to give you the width that you need in the shoulders.
Okay.
So there's quite a lot of chart left before you start decreasing.
Before you actually, okay.
So I think the where the raglan line would be if it was a set-in sleeve, I think that depends on continuing to knit. So
really you're only like,
yeah,
you're not very far at all.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So
well, yeah, because if you think like this is just your underarm here,
yeah,
you're really not. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm hoping
it'll be fine.
I'm hoping it's going to be fine, or else I'm going to be looking for somebody. But, or I definitely I'm thinking that one of two things is going to happen. Okay. It's going to be too narrow.
Yeah.
Or the underarm is not going to be deep enough.
So it'll feel like tight
there, which is the exact opposite. Not better than having the bat wing.
No.
If you can't wear it because your armpits are strangled underneath. Well, anyway, we'll see.
Hang on, folks.
We'll see what happens. And I might be able to muck around a little bit. Like if I add an extra line of motif to give it a little bit higher, so what I'll have to do is at some point I'm gonna have to take these off.
Use your
TKB cords. Oh no, I don't have to take them off. That's the whole thing about the TKB cords.
No, you just attach it.
Yeah, you just attach it. So I will at some point I'm gonna have to do that and just check when I'm at the point where she starts to say decrease.
Yes.
I'll do it.
Make sure you actually want to be decreasing at that point.
Yeah. So
it's gorgeous colors though. I just love this color.
It's really we actually have it backwards, but it doesn't matter. There's a split hem and it goes a little bit longer, but
at this point
it feels really nice, like silky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Maya.
I wouldn't say it feels like that's not a loose stitch you've got going on. No. So
no, but I did
the sweater stitch.
I did the gauge.
Okay.
And I'm knitting size 5, like the 5th side. Like that's how because I knew what my swatch was. Yeah. So I'm knitting the number of stitches is for a way bigger size than what I actually need.
All right. So it may relax out yet.
Maybe. I hope so because I really want to wear it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So now
it's you know what, it is hard to tell when everything is squished on the needles.
I will tell you, this is the first sweater that I've knit with this kind of construction because you knit up the body and then you bind off your normal 10 stitches on the side like you would on anything, and you do the same on the sleeves, and then you just start picking up over the top of the sleeve and join it that way.
Okay. When
you first start, you've got quite a lot of stitches on the top of the sleeve and you've only got this little hole of 10 bound off. It's really kind of tight.
Okay.
Because you're trying to join. It gets easier every row you do because it relaxes a bit. But when you first take it off the short circulars and do the join, you've only got this little space of 10 bound off stitches, and then you've got this big hunk of stitches on the top.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it stays round.
Interesting.
So when you're going around with your long circular, it pulls it in like where the bind off is somewhat.
Right.
But I think that's the way that it is. At first, that was really making me panic because I thought this is going to be so tiny that it's. But then as I knit up, every row was more relaxed, and I understood. Well, of course, because you're trying to. You have a little space like an inch and a half or 2 inches, and then of course it has to go around.
It's
and you can feel that when you're.
I was getting worried for a second, and then I remembered mine is a steek and a seam. Yeah. So I'm okay. It's all good. I don't have to figure this out.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the Maya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming along great.
Yeah. So
dare we say by next time you'll have it all?
Well, maybe. It goes pretty quick. The pattern is super easy to memorize.
Nice.
So that's a gift, I have to say.
Yeah, because you're just creating diamonds, and it's not like
there's a big X that comes next, but every line is you do it once, and like you look at the chart. Well, yeah, and you have it memorized.
And look at, or if not memorized, I would say this is like you can see exactly what should come next.
Yeah, so exactly. That's nice. So that's a really. I've done a lot of color work sweaters that's not the case. So.
Do you just kind of keep repeating some of the patterns?
No, it changes. The motif changes.
Oh, nice.
But line by line, it's easy to memorize. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like you're carrying floats very far.
No,
either.
3
So that's-
stitches.
Oh,
the most.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's really
Okay,
it's
this
really
is sounding
nice.
attractive.
Yeah, very nice
right.
pattern. Okay, so next is the cowl cardigan. The excitement doesn't stop there with Maya.
Keeps going.
Not if you barely lift it. Okay, so I've done.
This is a lot of fabric.
I have a sweater.
Arms are attached.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes. All right, never fails. Okay, so I took some pictures because you were asking about how the sleeves fit in.
was.
So when I was showing you, I think I had one sleeve done. Did I the last time?
Nothing was attached, I don't think.
No, it wasn't attached. But it didn't. It turns out that it's not exactly doesn't go together the way I thought. Doesn't go together the way I thought it was going to go together.
Oh, okay.
So I took a picture before I sewed on the second sleeve. So when you're doing a pieced sweater, you're actually, if you think about, if you have sewing experience, it helps you because you're just knitting what you would cut out for sewing.
Yes.
So it's hard, if you're just used to doing sleeves in the round and stuff like that, it's hard to understand how the curves that look like they're going in the opposite direction of how they should be going sew into the thing and you have a rounded sleeve at the end. Yeah. It's hard to intuitively
know that. And
understand.
If you've never looked at a sewing pattern when it's still in pieces,
which
I haven't done a lot of, but I've been around it enough with my sister and my mom to kind of have at least a bit of an idea.
Right. So when I finished these sleeves, they had a shape, so they came up, well, there's going to be a picture, but they came up like this. And then it went like that. Off to the side. So I was like, oh my God, I think I made a mistake here somewhere or whatever. No, it's okay. And I'll show the picture. So how it works is you have the front and the back and the sleeve, this little angled part of the sleeve actually goes over the top of where the shoulder is, like here. So it made sense when it was done.
Once it was in there.
So when I started sewing, and I used mattress stitch to sew because I like to knit or sew from the front, the right side, the public side. We have these in a lot.
Oh, sure. Just to interrupt for a second. That's also because it's like a raglan style.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not even like, okay, so that's making even more sense to me now.
The shape is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Because normally raglan sleeves...
You're creating across the top, too.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I used mattress stitch to sew up, and I sewed the raglan seams first. That's what it tells you to do in the instructions. So front and back. So you had the pieces together. And I left the seam of the sweater, the underarm, open, and then I seamed all the way to from the bottom all the way up to the cuff.
Okay,
in one go.
Yeah, that was.
So you can. I like to do mattress stitch, so I've done quite a lot of it, and I enjoy the process of that. So I have no problem just taking my time. I make a cup of tea. Nice. I sit and I do it. If you don't feel the same way about mattress stitch and you want to go a little bit faster and you're not sure or you haven't done it before.
The hesitation for me with mattress stitch isn't time as much as worrying that I'm going to get off track and that I'm going to get to the end.
Yeah, you do have to check that.
Meet up.
Yeah, you have to put pins in or I just use the opening stitch markers and join the pieces together so that and you can recover. You just every time you do 6 or 7 stitches and you pull the thread out. Yeah. I did a tutorial on mattress stitch, so I'll put a card here somewhere. You pull them out and then you check to make sure you're still even. Then you do 7 more stitches. Okay. Pull it, tighten it, check to make sure. And you can recover a difference, quite a little difference without causing a pucker, but you do need to check regularly.
To pay attention.
Yeah. That's right. So, and if you're not sure about mattress stitch, you probably, the recommendation would not to be start at the bottom and do one straight thing. It would be start at the cuff and go to the underarm, and then start at the bottom and go to the underarm. Okay. And if you've messed things up, it's under the arm.
Oh, I see.
Not
showing.
Not really showing.
But you're confident. I like your confidence.
Well, I've done so much of it. Like And I like it. Like I have no.
So if she had to pull it all back out and do it again, it's
No
just
problem.
another cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. It's true. It doesn't bother me. Okay, so then this is the cowl.
Okay, we might have to get a little higher to show that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
oh my gosh, look at all the stitches on there.
Yeah, so I did the thumb cast on, or whatever they call backward loop cast on, for 187 stitches.
I like that one. I don't mind that one.
I don't mind it, but it's loosey-goosey.
The next row is not so fun.
Especially when they go on the cord.
Oh,
so of course they get tiny.
Yeah.
So I just made myself another cup of tea, and
we have to buy a new box of tea.
And I did one stitch at a time, just
but
making sure. But I'm there. So now, the one thing that I'm not sure of. So now you've got 330 stitches all the way around, because you pick up stitches around the neck. You do the thumb cast on for the front of the cowl, and then you knit and pick up and knit on the other side. And now you're just going around in garter stitch. Yay, garter stitch! Except it's circular knitting.
In the round.
So it's not knit all the way. It's knit and purl, but that's okay.
But I had to clarify. She just means knit one row, purl one row. Not like seed stitch where you're, or a ribbing where you're going back and forth.
The whole thing. So you have to create a one turn in this cowl.
In there.
And if people join their knitting in the round, and then you know how easy it is to get a twist by mistake.
And you can recover it up to like, I think by the second row. Yeah.
But it's easy to twist.
Yeah.
You would think that it would be no problem to twist. But do you think I could get the flicknackin thing to be twisted?
The what?
The flicknackin thing to be twisted? I got the whole thing on there. I did exactly what I thought. I thought I did what they said. Do a 180 degree twist.
Okay.
And then join and pick up on the other thing. So you should have
you have to remember too, you're working like it would be easy if it's this wide and you're twisting.
It's not easy.
But you're twisting at like a very
one thread.
Oh.
Yeah.
How could you is there any way you could mark that?
I don't know.
To know?
Anyway, I did it. I did my first 2 rows.
Okay.
And then I tried to like twist, and because it also curls up on the cord.
You'd have to put it on your TBK.
I don't know. I guess so. But it's not really that easy to see, I have to say.
Still, okay.
So after I had the cast on in 2 rows, I thought, okay, I don't think it's twisted. So I twisted it.
Okay.
So for sure it was twisted.
So you either twisted or untwisted
So
it.
now I've either got 2 twists or no twist. Or maybe I really am lucky and I have one. But I'm not going to know until it's finished.
Or at least significantly further along.
And I can tell you it's not coming out.
Oh.
So I have no idea what kind of an impact it would make on the
So if it's not twisted, you'll just...
If it's not twisted, it's okay.
Yeah.
But if it has 2 twists, I'm not sure if that makes a difference.
Work.
Or not. Anyway.
We'll have to wait and see.
We're going to see. We're going to see. But this goes pretty quick too. I have to do 14 centimeters of for 4.5 inches.
You don't mind purling.
No,
you talk about working in the flat all the time. It's just like working a piece in the flat.
It's a little drama, Betsy.
Okay.
Give me the drama.
She wants a little she's drinking tea. I was going to say a little cheese with her wine, but she's drinking tea.
Anyway, so there, and it fits. And in this case, my gauge was bigger than the, even though I did tighten up things, so it's bigger. So I'm actually knitting the smallest size.
Right.
And there's plenty of room.
Oh, nice. But you know what? You kind of want this a little bit oversized. You want to be able to put it on. This.
It's really, really nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to put it over top of something. This is
like
almost
a coat.
Jacket.
Yeah, it's like a coat.
I'd say for, around here, almost up until late autumn, if you're just going somewhere in the car, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, late autumn, from now to late autumn. You can still wear it.
Yeah, sure.
In the middle of the summer.
Oh, you're right through the summer. Some of those evenings, we do get some warmth.
January. There's always January.
That's true.
So
we were actually as a family discussing and trying to remember if it got hot last summer. And then we remembered, I think there was the 2 weeks when we were in Ontario, Ken was texting and saying, we're dying.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 weeks long.
Yeah. So. Well, the one good thing about maritime weather is it tends to be temperate.
Yes.
So don't come and expect to be days of 30 degrees Celsius
No.
or more on end.
But I don't want that anyway.
No, that's right.
I don't want it.
That's why a lot of
Florida can keep it.
yeah. So those I was gonna make some kind of a joke about ages of people, but I'm not going to. I don't want to. My days of baking in the sun are
done.
Long done. I just wanted to be. Want to be comfortable.
Me too.
Yeah. All right, so that's the cowl cardigan. So
Gorgeous.
that actually might be done by next podcast too.
Oh, wow. She's gonna have to start a new project.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh no!
Don't lose any stitches.
I'll try not to.
Okay.
Try not to. Moving gently.
Okay. So So what have I learned about? It's the raglan pieced raglan is an interesting construction. Yeah,
okay. But it looks
really
nice.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna. Yeah.
And again, I don't think you can do this without piecing it because that fabric is really soft and drapey.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You need the structure of those seams.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just gonna kind of like slide backwards off your shoulders.
Yeah, it's a little, as we used to say in French, mou.
Oh.
Mou.
Okay.
I
don't know.
Is that right? Mou. Soft and mushy.
Oh, okay.
More or less. Nothing to do with cows.
Okay.
All right. So that's the project.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to put it out there publicly.
Oh.
Because this is going to keep me honest. So those are all going to be off the table. Okay. What am I going to do next?
What are you going to do? Do you have it planned already?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to finish the page.
Oh. Okay, not quite so new and exciting. We're going to return and complete.
Got it. Exactly. Okay. So Betsy and I were discussing about the big cheat that I did with Paisley because I didn't actually have it finished the last time I wore it. That's why you haven't seen it again because there's still fuchsia buttonhole markers and stuff like that on it. But literally, I made a joke that I have like about an hour and a half left to work on it. But I think I think it's more than that. It's because there's all sequins and all that kind of stuff.
Getting the sequins on is going to take
some
some
time. I have a
time.
little bit of crochet left, but now that I know how to crochet, I had crocheted the other parts before I knew how to crochet, really.
Okay.
So it'll be easier. So I am going to finish that, and then I'm going to pick up my wallflowers again and finish that. But that'll be an in-between project.
And that one is not like that you can decide, okay, I'm going to just finish this one. You'd be working pretty straight, pretty hard.
Yeah, that's right. So that's my goal. So once the Paisley is done, I'll cast on something else.
Okay.
But I'll be working on the wallflowers in between. I actually really miss my wallflower time.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good. It means you want to come back to it.
Yes,
so
I really want to do it. And a couple times this week I was like, maybe I'll just drink it. But no, I have to finish.
Finish those.
You're close. You're close.
Yeah,
let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
good. So maybe my goal is to come back with something completed. Couple frogs.
Yeah, sure. Why not? There's some really cute clothes you can make for them.
I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to do the clothes.
You mentioned about the shoes. You know that you can buy them on Etsy.
So cute. I know. I did
and
go
you
looking.
Can make them.
I did. Oh, you can make them?
Yes,
no.
she said that she buys them, but you can make them.
Yeah. No, I would just have to buy them pre-made. But I did go and look, and I decided that maybe not. No. I don't need to buy shoes for my frogs. You know, my one daughter needs shoes. I should probably get her shoes first.
Well, I don't know.
I
don't have kids, so I don't have to be responsible for those kind of priorities.
You don't have to worry about kids' shoe money versus frog shoe money.
Yeah, that's right.
Dear.
Anyway, so that's that. So
sounds good.
You had a really exciting week in the mill.
I had a very adventurous week in the mill.
That's right. So now this is the in the mill section.
In the mill. Here we go.
In the mill.
Yeah. So I went from, what do you call that? Like jumping off the deep end or something like that?
Yeah.
So I went from learning how to dye pre-made recipes onto yarn, which I feel is, challenging enough. Mm-hmm. And then we decided to go and create some new colors.
I'm just going to clarify for people that might not realize. We use greener shade dyes in the mill, so they're GOT certified. So the what does the G stand for? I forget. Anyway, it's organic textile treatment something or other. So they're GOT certified. So, but they only make 9 colors.
Only 9 colors.
So we're not here just pouring stuff out of a can.
And when I say established recipes, I mean that Jennifer made recipes and I was following her recipes,
Right.
not that we were just
That's
opened
right.
a recipe book.
That's
and
why I'm
went to-
clarifying.
Ah, okay.
Because it's a little bit more complicated
Then, yes.
than just measuring out a pre-mixed dye. You have to make the mixture.
Yeah.
And you have to take things into consideration when you're doing it. Like the color of the base of the yarn, because our yarn is farm wool.
Yeah.
So some of the fleeces are really white,
Yeah.
and some of them are quite yellow.
Yellow, yeah.
But if
And we get everything in between.
and we get everything in between, but we have to have some little bit of consistency
Yes.
in what the finished color is.
Yeah.
So light colors can be challenging because you
Yes.
have to make adjustments.
Yeah, to that.
So you've learned a lot about color theory.
I have learned a lot about color theory. And I think also, interestingly enough, I feel, and some may argue with me, but for me, I've discovered that I was hoping there would be a lot of crossover between mixing paint and mixing dye powders. There is not.
No.
Because when you mix the paint, you can see right in front of you what color you've developed.
Right.
When you mix the dye powders into a liquid, you're not exactly sure until it's on the yarn. You can't really see exactly what color you've
Right.
put together.
And you, especially the darker,
Especially the darker.
medium
They
to
all
dark
look
shade, they all
black.
look black. Yeah,
Yeah.
until you get them on the yarn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had some adventures.
Yes. Yeah.
You've had some adventures,
Yeah.
but it's every day's a school day.
It is.
But I think you need to be able to play a little bit because you don't learn how they react with different fibers too.
React with different fibers, and I think the biggest one for me was, okay, so I was looking at a color. I want this color to have more gray in it. Well, what is more gray?
Yeah.
How much more black do I need to add to get it to be gray without just turning it black and wiping out all my other
Right.
purple?
Right.
So I had to learn like what kind of increases affect it.
Right.
And then of course I'm still trying to keep things relatively easy to use. So if I raise one color, backing off on the amounts of others. So it's really
Yeah.
figuring out all those balances that are.
So there was a lot of trials.
There was a lot of trials.
Yeah. So, and we actually, some of the colors I was like, ooh, my head nothing to do.
No, Kim, that's not the one we're after. Focus, Kim, focus.
Well, I think we could just, I even up till today, I was like, maybe we could just.
No.
Anyway, so what we were trying to do, so I already talked about it in the segment with Simone because
Nice.
she's going to knit the Rioux Shawl.
Yay, thank you, Simone.
Yes, and when we said that we would try this project, I actually really had no idea how involved it was going to be.
Yeah.
So the 14 colors, I thought, we've got 83 colors.
Yeah,
There's got to be something
surely.
close for, except for one part of her scale that she did. It was a purple. It's
Really
purples.
nice. Yeah.
And we've got a lot of purples, but none of them were like, she was basing her colors on taupey purples.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or more gray in them.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we decided, and I alluded to this in the segment with Simone as well, is that we had to use some of our own colors. We
Yes,
weren't going to
of
do
course,
14 colors.
Gosh, no.
And then when we laid them all out and put them together, some of the colors that were in the original pattern didn't make sense with the color that it was going next
Right.
to that we already had. So
Yeah.
we made a few adjustments. So it's a good facsimile, but it's not exact.
But it's also, it's not the exact as the, what am I saying? It's not exact to the original, but I think we've still put together a really lovely palette for it.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
and it
was
will
really fun.
ring fairly close, I think.
Yeah.
You won't really know till someone knits it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's it would be challenging for people to pick 14 colors.
Oh.
Simone talked about that with
Yes.
her colorwork sweater she had
Yeah.
on as well. Like to pick those colors and you're looking at them online and it's not easy. So we've done the work for you.
Right. And those designers who do that, I think that is one of their specialties. And that's what makes them who they are. I'm
It's a
thinking like
superpower.
Marie Wallin.
Yes.
Who can take
Or Sue Matten.
24 colors sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sue Matten's The Wallflower was 16.
Yeah.
And know what works together and plays well, but then still has points of interest.
Right.
So
I'm just going to do a shameless plug for the Fibre Festival right here.
Sure.
Because we saw how challenging this was in the mill. Sue Matton is coming to the Fibre Festival, and she's going to do a class on color theory and choosing your color story for your project. And obviously she's a crocheter. She doesn't really knit. She probably does knit, but that's not her thing. It's her jam is crochet. But we've asked her to do that class twice because we think that there's going to be a big demand for that class because you can use it in any project you do. You can even use it in sewing, I would think, like quilting.
You can use it in
like
decorating your house.
Yeah,
exactly. There's a lot of crossover in understanding how colors work together and play together, and there's crossover all over for that.
So Sue is going to teach that class at the Fibre Festival, so that should be really great.
Yay.
Meanwhile, we had to struggle along.
learning.
Yeah.
That's all right. We were both learning.
Yes, and everybody knows that I love purple. You would think we'd have lots of purple because I love purple.
Enough.
You'd think it would be enough, but no.
So don't mind my little pieces of paper. I'm not quite ready to remove them yet because I just need to know what things are. So if you've worked with our purples, I would say they're just a little bit brighter and lighter not lighter in depth of shade, just lighter in...
More jewel tone.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that sounds right.
Right.
And we were looking for something a little more muted, a little more gray to it, just bringing it down a little bit in its aliveness. And so these are the 4 new colors. We had to create 4 as their own standalone colors. And then one of them, this one, we're able to just reduce the amount of dye on the fiber to make it a lighter shade of that. Mm-hmm. So I'm quite excited with what we've come up with.
Yeah.
And
it probably is reading just kind of dark here, but they're purple.
They're purples, yeah.
So there's blackberry.
Blackberry.
We named them today.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So there's blackberry, which is like a really, really rich, dark purple.
Yeah.
Very different, surprisingly different than amethyst brooch.
It is. Amethyst it's just funny. You put them side by side and you go, oh, nope, those are not the same colors. Yeah. So, but I don't want to try to describe how they're different because how you see color is quite an individual thing too. Yeah. And then we've got plum, which still has a little bit of that brightness to it.
I'm sure you can't really differentiate the difference, but you'll have to trust us. Taking the pictures of the colors is going to be...
So these 2 I did first, I think, and they were actually fairly straightforward because I knew exactly where I wanted to go. I just wanted to add more black to a purple and do that, and same idea here. Mm-hmm. I had done it originally, not adding the black to it, and then realized I needed to just bring it back into the same family.
Shade it a little bit. Exactly.
Okay. And then this one here also came together, I think, fairly... straightforward. It took us a few more tries to get the right amount of gray into it.
Right. And have it still be purple.
And still be purple.
To your point.
Exactly.
You just so this is called dust, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we're calling it dust. So it's a gray purple.
Yes. Very much so. Yeah. And we're going to lighten this one as well to a bit of a lighter color, which we have a name for and I can't remember at the moment. We'll have to check it.
Yeah.
And then this one. This one for me, taupe, was the challenge because taupe can go in so many different directions. Mm-hmm. So I just started by looking online, first of all, how do you create taupe? Because it's not just light brown.
No.
It has options. So you can add a blue to it, you can add a pink to it, you can add a purple to it, you can add gray to it. We did all of those things. We did. We tried.
We did a deep dive on taupe.
On taupe, yeah. And we ended up with, I really like it.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've named this one, it's after the mushroom. What's it called?
Fairy ring.
Fairy ring.
Yes.
Yes.
If my mother is watching, she's going to love this. My mother loves fairy rings. Yes, it's story time.
Okay.
So I don't know how I'm going to get it all on the label. But fairy rings, if people don't have this type, I don't know what I'm sure Simone knows the botanical name or whatever the genus.
Latin names.
Yeah, or the genus and it's not botanical because they're not. It's a fungus, not a plant.
Yeah.
So right away I'm wrong, but that's anyway.
You're beyond me.
Yeah, a fairy ring is. We have a cottage on the eastern shore of Nova Scotia, and it had like a little wooded area around it. And when we took our first walk in the woods, my mother was like over the moon because there was a fairy ring in the trees in the woods. And what it is a group of mushrooms that grows in a circle. And it's a ring. It makes a ring. So there's nothing in the middle of the ring. but they grow around on the ring. So my mother she hadn't seen one of those since she was a kid.
Oh, I really like that. I love little woodland whimsical.
Yes.
I'm quite into that. So that's very cute.
Do you know about the ghost pipe
No.
mushroom? Oh, you have to look that up.
I don't know anything about mushrooms.
Oh, okay.
I have to admit that.
Okay.
I know the white ones that you buy in the grocery store. And I would be terrified to pick anything in the wild because I don't know anything.
You don't eat them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Don't go and eat them.
Don't eat. You may see the fairies.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't. You may not see anything.
Anything else.
I have no idea if they're. Don't eat them.
Yes.
Don't eat them. Everybody. Okay. So fairy ring, I'm really excited about that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm excited to explore more with the fairy ring too, to see what happens when we darken it, when we lighten it.
Yeah.
And actually for each of them, just a little bit more play. I'm hoping to do that, to find their gradient and see what each one does.
Yeah.
But we didn't have time for that this week.
No.
So that'll be another
because
time.
we have to make the kit.
We need to get the kits together.
So we will do the kits. We went through all of the yarn amounts that you need for each color in the Rioux pattern, and we will do, when you buy the kit, you'll have to buy the pattern from Jennifer Beale off the website or off of Ravelry, and then if you order the Rioux kit from us, you'll get all of the yarn that you need, all 14 colors chosen to live well and happy together in the Rioux.
And did you mention it's on, we put it, the base is our sock yarn?
Yes, I did mention it, but
Perfect.
we should mention that again.
Okay.
It's Point Prim Sock yarn.
Yes.
Because that's the finest, like the fingering weight yarn that is best matched to the pattern. So,
yes.
Yeah, so that's it. So that's been a huge project.
Huge adventure, yes. Maybe that's why I'm feeling a bit tired. Maybe because the one day I was trying, so
your brain was hurting.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So a really important thing that I learned, at one point, to get the taupe, I decided to mix stocks. So that's color in liquid form. So it's already been taken from the powder and it's in liquid form. So I mixed 2 liquids together to get the color I wanted, which was lovely and created a beautiful color. But then I needed to reverse engineer the math to figure out the powder.
Each of the colors.
That was a nightmare. So then I was
literally thought our heads were going to pop off.
Kim said, she's like, my head is hurting from this. Trying to do that math. So what I learned is never again will I start with the stocks. I know that there are folks out there who do that, but I want to be able to engineer it from the powder so that we can create it from the powder.
Yeah, because each of the stocks had 3 or 4 different colors
in
base
them.
colors in them.
Yeah,
so it became, and then we were like down to 1/100 of a gram of, because then to test it, you need to have the weight of, it goes by the weight of the yarn for the depth of shade.
Yeah.
So when we didn't want to use up all our sock yarn.
400 yards of
sock
so
yarn. We were using little samples like this. So you had to get a sample of dye that gave you, what is this, like a 0.2%?
I was literally using a syringe, I think that you would use to administer medication to your sheep. And I was like,
you're not going to use that one syringe for the sheep anymore.
And old.
Yes.
And I was like doing it 1 drop at a time onto a teeny little jewelry scale that measures down to the, anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, but we're pretty happy with the results. Yeah. And we have new colors that look like they may or may not make an appearance.
Yeah. And I went from going home to Matthew and saying, I have no idea where to begin. I don't know anything about what I'm doing. I don't know if I can do this.
You didn't let on.
No, don't tell you that till after. No way.
Yeah.
If I really truly believed I could not do something, I would tell you up front. But there's always that part of me that's like, I think I can.
You see the smile on my face? I'm pretty sure. Name me one thing that you wanted to do that you really, really, truly can't do.
I don't know.
Right.
Drawing. I'm still not there with drawing. But I also recognize I haven't put the time in for that one.
Yes.
It requires time.
She only can do it well enough to make t-shirts that look like they're store-bought. That's why.
Okay, moving on.
Anyway.
So I went from that to...
I had full confidence is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah. You're excited now because it's done.
Because it's done. Yeah, but no. I'm excited that next time in several months, whatever away, that when we decide to do it again.
I'm not sure how excited you were last Thursday.
No, I don't remember which day Thursday was. It was getting all
The head
muddled
explosion
together.
day.
Oh,
Anyway,
I was unsure about that taupe, but we got there.
Yeah,
So it's good.
You did it.
Yeah.
Well, you did it.
Yeah. And I think ultimately with that, it came down to, like I said, I started in the wrong spot. So
Yeah.
then we had to go backwards and
Which makes
So,
sense. Like,
yeah.
who knew it was going to be so difficult? But it was because the colors that were in the stock were complex colors already.
Yes.
So
it was a brown, which contained 4 colors in there,
Yeah.
combined with a purple that contained 2 colors. So now we're up to 6 colors.
And some of them were the same. So anyway, it was a nightmare. Anyway, you did it. You did
It's
it,
done.
and you did a great job. And
you.
the kits are going to be beautiful.
So I can't wait to see one knit up.
I know it's going to be fantastic.
Note that I'm not volunteering to do it.
No, me either. So that would be, a year-long project. And
yeah.
and Simone is just burning to do it.
She's excited.
She's
so
so
that's good.
excited.
So give it to her.
We're like, yeah, good. You.
It was on my list anyway.
Yeah, that's what she said.
A few times I've heard it.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's it.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
No.
No.
Good to go.
All right.
So we'll
Thanks,
see you
Betsy.
next time.
Okay. Bye. Wow. Okay. So 14 not new colors, but 14 colors, and a lot of learning went into creating those things. And who knew taupe would be the hardest color ever to try to get the right color. But Betsy did a great job this week with that, and I hope that you're going to love the kit if anybody feels up to the challenge of that beautiful project by Jennifer Beale. So this is a perfect segue into In the Mill, because the kit will be for sale. You can just go onto our website and find it. You have to, as I mentioned a couple times, you have to buy the pattern on Ravelry from Jennifer Beale. And then you can shop on our website and find the kit. And as I said, we have all of the colors in the right amounts to make that beautiful shawl. So also in the mill, we decided we've been starting to see more and more projects made from our Wild Winds yarns. So Wild Winds, I should say, if you're searching for it on the website, it's Wild Winds, all one word. The Wild Winds yarn is a yarn that I designed in particular to do a Selbu mittens out of, or Selbu design. So it's a fingering weight yarn, and it's made from the wool from a special flock of sheep here on Prince Edward Island that live in the farm is called Wild Winds Pastures. These sheep are crossbred sheep with some old breeds in them, so that they're really hardy. They live outside, and they have this beautiful, I've talked about this before, they live in this beautiful environment that's been created for them by the farmer, and he's cut the lower limbs off of a lot of trees in this kind of woodland patch, that woodlot that he has. So they go in there and they live there all year, and he brings their hay and everything to them, and they even have their lambs there. And if you walk in there, it's just so peaceful and beautiful, and you can hear the trees just whispering around, and it's just a really beautiful spot to live. And because these breeds are old breeds and hardy breeds, they're bred to be outside, so it's okay that they're outside. And their wool is just fantastic. It's very different than the other wools that we buy from the other farmer that we buy from, and different from our own flock. It has a hardiness to it, but when it knits up, it has this beautiful kind of soft halo, and it has a very nice smooth feeling. So this was made in natural white. When we have it, we do the natural black. If we don't have enough black, because most of his sheep are white, but there are some black ones, we do dye it if we don't have the natural black, using the greener shade dyes, and we make the gray from the natural black and white mixed together. So we had these 3 colors, and there's been, like I said, quite a few projects that have been made from it. Simone actually designed a pair of mittens, the Iditarod mittens from these yarns as well, and used our Point Prim Sock when she needed other colors. So as we started seeing projects with this, I decided that I would probably want to knit something with it, and but I wanted a couple new colors. So we did 3 new colors, and newsletter people already know this because we always feature new products on the newsletter first, and then we show them on the podcast. Another reason to subscribe to the newsletter. So the colors that we chose to do is cranberry. So in the Selbu pattern books and the Selbu mitten book, they do use red quite often in those old traditional patterns. So we wanted a red. The red that they show, it tends to be a little bit more orangey, but I just love the richness of this cranberry color that we do. And we do these on a lot of different yarn bases, or we do cranberry on a lot of different yarn bases. But it's just beautiful on this Wild Winds. And then we wanted to do 2 blues because they do use blues as well. But again, we've used a little bit of a different tone. So this blue, the light blue, is might be familiar to people because it's Trondheim blue. We also dye this on our Heatherdale Lopi. So we do a Lopi yarn called Heatherdale Lopi. And that's made from the wool from a flock of registered Icelandic sheep that live here on PEI as well on Blomidon Farm. So this color is called Trondheim blue, and we do it on sock yarn, and we do it on Heatherdale Lopi, and now we'll have it on the Wild Winds. And then the good old steady and reliable A Night Without Stars, which is a really, really nice navy, also in Wild Winds. So I'm thinking these 2 colors are beautiful together, but this pop of red with maybe the black or the gray, I'm just going to see. And I think I'm going to do a small project. So I'm thinking I might do socks or some kind of other small projects. That's just so I can play with this yarn for myself. I've only seen things that other people have knit with it. So that's what what else we've been working on. So 3 new colors of Wild Winds. So that gives us a selection of 6 now. I wanted to also talk about something that we had in the shop for a long time, but I always like to mention it every now and then because when I get a chance to use it, I always think of what a wonderful thing it is. So I'm going to show this Swift again. So this is made by hand by Scott Hubley from Fox Mountain Spindles, and he made this tabletop Swift. This is a Swift that you can adjust the size, so you can use it to hold any size skein, really. It has this beautiful action on the turntable. It comes with an Allen key, and this screw actually comes off, and you get the parts. You can take this apart, and when you take it apart, I'm just going to put this back so I don't lose it. When you take it apart, the arms come off, and then you have the pieces to make a yarn buddy. So this is a yarn buddy. We also sell the yarn buddies separately, but the base of the yarn buddy is the same as the base on the Swift, and you get this dowel and the top with the Swift so that you can convert the Swift to a yarn buddy. If you haven't used a yarn buddy or seen one of these before, again, it's handmade, but you put your ball of yarn on it, and as you knit, you have, you won't be able to see it if I set it down on the, I don't know if you can see it on my knee, maybe, no. So as you knit, you have an even tension on the ball. Oh, I'm holding the, okay, here we go. I didn't really think this through very well. So you have an even tension, and it lets your yarn out very, very smoothly so that you don't have balls rolling around on the floor, and you have an even tension on your yarn. And Scott makes this in a single yarn buddy, and he also makes one in a double yarn buddy, and we have all of these in stock. And the double yarn buddy has one base with 2 of these pedestals on it. So that's 3 products I'm showing you. So you have this tabletop Swift, then that can also be converted to a single yarn buddy. or you can buy the Yarn Buddy, a single Yarn Buddy by itself, or a double Yarn Buddy. So if you do a lot of color work, the double Yarn Buddy is really, really great to have as well, because you can put both of your colors on it. We do have other things that Fox Mountain makes. So Scott also makes drop spindles, which we have in stock, and he also does darning mushrooms. So I have that as well. So something completely different, but handmade darning mushrooms as well for mending your socks. And I just love the stuff that he does. It's not there's not a lacquer on it. He uses beeswax to finish them, and they're polished, but they're so lovely and organic. All of his, and it's maple that he uses most of the time in his wood. So you can check out him on our website, Fox Mountain Spindles, and all of the products are listed there. So, and we have a new book that came into the shop today. Actually, today, the day that I'm recording this, it's being launched. So Moorit is a crochet magazine. If you've heard of Lina and like the Lina magazine and you crochet, you're going to love this book. It's very similar in feel aesthetically, but also in feel physically, because it's like beautifully unglossed paper. The photography is lovely in this book, and their new spring, it's published twice a year, and their new spring and summer book is out. So this is issue number 4. And this has a lot of really, really cute designs in it. So I'm going to do a slideshow because I think it's really worth showing them. And there's really, really cute t-shirts for summer, all in crochet. So we'll go to the slideshow and take a look at that. All right, so there's actually quite a few projects in there that I wouldn't mind doing myself. I talk about this every time when we show Moorit magazine, is that it's really, it really is taking crochet to a new level. And I think it's really great for crocheters and knitters. Maybe there's people that would love to do crochet rather than knitting, but they were not happy with the pattern selection. But I think that that's come a long, long way. And these designs are all just lovely and not what you think about. They're not the cliche crochet designs at all. So they're really fashionable and lovely. So you can check that out. So that's Moorit. Issue number 4, and I have all of the other issues, the other 3 issues in stock as well. So you can purchase those if you like the look of those kind of nice designs. And I think that that's all that I have for the shop update. So that's it for that. that leaves me to talk about the Fibre Festival. So the Prince Edward Island Fibre Festival is taking place in Charlottetown. The main venue is the Delta Hotel right on the waterfront in Charlottetown. The dates of the festival are October 5th to the 7th. And the Fibre Festival has just released a teaser campaign for the workshops that they're having. So I think there's 57 different workshops. So you can check that out on the Fibre Festival website. You can't register yet for the workshops. The first registration opportunity will be May 1st. And what we'll be doing is that since the festival was canceled last year due to Fiona, we will be offering the first chance to buy tickets to everybody that bought tickets to last year's festival. So they'll get a first exclusive time to be able to buy tickets. So if you bought tickets to last year's festival, you will receive an invitation to shop the workshops early. The next group that will receive a notification that the ticket sales are open to them are the people that have subscribed to the PEI Fibre Festival newsletter. So again, from the PEI Fibre Festival website, you can sign up for the newsletter and you will have not the first opportunity, but the second opportunity after previous ticket buyers to be able to access the tickets. And then there'll be 4 days of those sales, and then the tickets will be open to the public. So all of those dates will be posted on the website at some point. But for now, the classes that have been confirmed are all there. You can go down and you can browse through them. There is a button that says register, but it's not activated yet. So if you press the button that says register, it just skips you back to the website of the workshop. So you can't buy tickets until after the first week of May, but you can start to plan your trip. And there's a tab on the website for the Fibre Festival that talks about all the hotels that have offered special rates for attendees of the Fibre Festival. They're all there. Some of the rooms are being close to booked up already. So if you think that you might want to come, and now that you can see the classes and the scheduled date that we have scheduled so far, you should try to book your hotel if you're interested in staying in a hotel as soon as you can, because they are flying very quickly. They're being booked up. So I think that's all the important news for the Fibre Festival. It's getting exciting because there's everything's starting to come together, and I think you'll be impressed with the amount of classes that we have. And it's not just knitting. There's some great crochet classes. I don't know if any of you follow the crochet crowd, but Mikey from the crochet crowd is coming and teaching classes here. And we even have English paper piecing quilting that you do by hand. We have an instructor for that. There's a lot more spinning classes than what we had on the roster for last year. And we also have quite a few felting classes as well. So we try to cover a lot of different things this year to make it interesting, because even though if you have your main thing, knitting or crochet, a lot of us practice other different crafts as well. So we're really excited about that. So check out just Google PEI Fibre Festival and you'll be directed to the website. If you're coming to the Maritimes from a distance away, the week after, it's kind of overlaps a little bit. On October 6th, the Celtic Colors also starts in Cape Breton. So it makes a fantastic vacation or a little getaway to come and attend the PEI Fibre Festival. And then you can hop over to Cape Breton and check out what's happening for the next week at Celtic Colors as well. So 2 really premier events for the Maritimes are happening at around the same time. So it would make a great holiday. And I think that brings us to the end of the podcast this week. And we're going to say goodbye to Clyde. And we're just going to watch his little video, or her little video. So that brings us to the end, to the harmony part. And in the harmony part, as I said, we're going to say goodbye to Clyde and remember her with fondness in our hearts. So let's listen to some great music and check out Clyde in happier days. And with that, I wish you joy in the next 2 weeks with all of your crafting. And we'll talk to you in 2 weeks' time. Have a lovely 2 weeks. Bye.
We'll just head down, carry on, 'cause what else can we do but get through? And we'll sing hallelujah, but what is that to you right now? But let's talk in a way that can give us some faith to go around. We'll hold tight as we can when it's better again, and that'll sustain me for now. My friend, when we're together again, together